Okay, let's go ahead and do this. This is homework number 4 for chapter 3. All right, so number 57. When solving x over 6 equals 5 over 2, and we're solving this for x, Nathan noticed that x is divided by 6. Okay, yeah, I noticed it too. It's right here. Right, not much you can do there. Okay, but what can he do on both sides of the equation to get x alone? Right, so that's what we want to do. So both sides of the equation, what do we want to do to both sides of the equation to get x all by itself? Right, so I would say you would need to take this side of the equation, and if that's divided by 6, you would need to multiply by 6. Right, so if you do it to the left side, you have to do it to the right side, so you have to multiply also by 6. Okay, by doing that, that 6 is going to cancel the 6, which is going to give you just x. Over here, we have 5 times 6, which is 30, divided by 2. Okay. So what can he do to both sides of the equation to get x alone? Okay, he can multiply both sides by 6. Okay. Solve for x. Well, I got x is 30 over 2. Right, that's how so far what I got. Which means that 30 divided by 2, we get x equals 15. Okay. And then they want us to check your solution in the original. So the original is x over 6 equals 5 over 2. So if we're saying x is 15, that means that we're going to put 15 in place of the x. So I'll put 15 right there. Right? Are these going to be equivalent? 15 divided by 6, I can reduce that. Right? I can reduce it down. Let's see, 15 divided by 3, and 6 also divided by 3. So 15 divided by 3 gives us 5, and divided by 6 divided by 3 gives us 2, and guess what? That's the same thing. So check, right? Use the same process to solve this equation for x, and we have x, let me write it down bigger, x over 10 equals 2 over 5. So we're going to use the same process and go ahead and multiply both sides by 10. Okay, doing that, we will cancel out the 10s, and we get x equals, and we're going to go ahead and multiply the top together. 2 times 10 is going to give us 20, and then divided by 5 on the bottom. So x is equal to 20 divided by 5, or x is equal to 4. Okay? That one we're not going to check. All right, write an equation for a line described below. So we want a line. So because we want a line, it needs to start with y equals mx plus b. Okay. That goes to the point of negative 7, 10, and that negative 7 is the x, 10 is the y, and then 1, 4, and 1 and 4 is also the x and the y. Okay. So in order to do this, we need to put in numbers for x, for y, and for m. Okay. So we have x and y. We can choose either one, but we need the m, which is the slope. So I'm going to go ahead on the side. I'm going to find the slope. So I'm going to say the slope is the change in the y over the change in the x. So when you do the change in the y, that's going to be, we're going to go with 4 minus 10. Okay, so we're taking y's and we're just subtracting them. 4 minus 10. Okay, and we're going to go in that direction. So 4 minus 10, whatever that makes, we have to deal with that. And then you're also going to have to do 1 minus negative 7. So I'm going to write it, that's a change in x, that's 1 minus, and then you're going to put in negative 7. Even though it already says minus, you're always going to sub minus, and then whatever the number is, you're going to go putting in, which has negative 7. So 4 minus 10 is negative 6. Use your calculator if you need to. And 1 minus negative 7, that actually makes a positive. So 1 plus 7 is 8. So your slope is negative 6 over 8. You can divide or reduce them both by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So your slope is going to be negative 3 over 4. And that's what I'm going to put right here. Negative 3/4. Okay. So all of that worked just for your slope. Okay. Now you're going to decide which one are you going to use. And I'm going to decide that I'm going to use the 1 and 4 because there's no negatives and it looks easier. So I'm going to put 1 for x and 4 for y. And you're going to go ahead and try to solve for b. Okay. So you're going to work out negative 3/4 times 1 is also going to be negative 3/4. Copy the rest down. Copy the rest down. Okay. And you're going to go ahead and add them together or move them to one side or solve for b. So you end up with b is equal to, and to do this you have to add 3/4. So it'll be 4 plus 3/4. Okay. And 4 plus 3/4 makes 4.75. Or you can call it 4 3/4. Okay, however you want to do this. So your equation or your line is going to end up being y equals the slope, negative 3/4. Sorry, y equals mx plus b, so which means y equals negative 3/4 x plus your b, which happens to be 4.75. And yes, I know we are mixing fractions and decimals together. If you want to stick to fractions or you want to stick to decimals, right? You want to stick just to decimals, you can call it y equals negative 0.75 x plus 4.75. And if you want to stick to fractions, you can call it y equals negative 3/4 x plus 4 3/4. Okay, so either way is fine. Any one of those. Okay, letter B. The line perpendicular to the equation, negative 3/4 x plus 4, and goes through a point, 12, negative 5. Right, because it's perpendicular, we're going to go ahead and use that slope, but we're going to go ahead and use it with a perpendicular line, which means that it's going to be the opposite. So instead of negative, it's going to be positive, and instead of 3/4, it's going to be 4 over 3. So that's the slope we're going to use, and this is the point we're going to use. And again, we're going to start with y equals mx plus b, and you're going to put all the stuff that you know. For example, you know the slope is 4/3. For example, you know the x is 12. And you also know the y is negative 5. All right, so you're going to go ahead and do some math. All right, 12 times 4/3. Okay. If the way I'm doing it, I'm going to go ahead and reduce 3 and 12. And you get a 4 from there, you get a 1 from the 3, so you get 16. So you get negative 5 equals 16 plus b. All right, you're going to go ahead and solve for b by subtracting 16 over. And you end up with b is equal to negative 21. Now you're going to go ahead and write your equation. Y equals the m, which is 4/3, x plus b, which is going to be plus a negative 21. Okay, and when you see a plus and a negative or plus and a minus, you're going to go ahead and just use the minus. It's a plus and a minus, the minus wins out. Okay, that's your answer. Okay, last one, we want the line parallel to this equation, and because it's parallel, we're going to use the same slope, meaning your slope is going to be exactly 4/3. And we also want to use this point right here, negative 3, 2. So again, we're going to start with y equals mx plus b. You're going to start with putting in your x, your y, and your m. So your x is going to be -3, so I'm going to put -3 right here. Your y is going to be 2, so I'm going to put 2 right there where the y is. Your m is 4/3, so I'm going to put 4 divided by 3. And you're going to add b, or you're trying to solve for b. Okay, work the math out. Use a calculator or use some fraction. I'm going to go ahead and simplify this fraction. 3 and 3 is going to cancel, and you're going to be left with -4 plus b. That's going to equal 2. We'll solve this by adding 4. That's going to cancel. You get b is equal to 2 plus 4, that's 6. So your equation, something like y equals m, which is 4/3, x plus b, which is 6. And that's your answer. Okay, that one you don't have to fix with plus or minuses because it's already a plus. Okay, all right, that's a wrap.